And we are live. And this is another day of talking about Congo. And I'm going to be wrapping up my series on well drilling in the Congo. And this is the final uh, for a while. I'll say final because it was so much fun and so much enjoyment when I was drilling wells with Paul Law on the first part of my trip in the Congo uh, during the last summer. But so this is the final episode in this series, and so there'll probably be other portions that I talk about it, but we're going to talk about the completion. If you hope you have not missed the first part, the first two parts when I explained about drilling a well, but this part is most uh, important. This is what we do to the well in Paul instance of uh, of his design and everything, and this what makes it unique, and what I think is going to make it sustainable and everything. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Did a little something different than I did yesterday. Today I actually prepared a video that runs a little over 4 minutes, but I'm going to be talking over the video so that you'll be able to see uh, and and also I'll be able to explain everything that's on the video. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I thank you for stopping by again and hope you're having a nice day. But this is one of the exciting points that I've had in a long time. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. And like I said, it's about 5 minutes, a little less than about four or something. And I'll talk about some of the things that we did and what makes this unique and what makes this a modern water well. Okay, so we're going to start from securing the borehole, which we talked about yesterday. Yesterday we talked about securing the borehole. That was the last thing we talked about. Everybody have to do this, and you will see us right there. You see that pipe is sticking up there. That's actually the top of the borehole, the casing that we cut off and put there. We typically have to cut a piece off because it we can't measure directly how deep it is. So now we're going to actually start uh, looking at some other aspects of it. So let's go ahead and proceed on. This is where we actually have put the pump down in there, and we're actually pumping up water. This was a day later. We did the previous on the 14th, and this is June 15th. And so we were back out that afternoon. We gave them time to start preparing everything, and so the pump is pumping water, and I was so excited about it. And so what I'm looking at now is it was a not a cloudy day, but there were some clouds in the sky, and I wanted to show you that even when the sun is being blocked out by a cloud, the water is still pumping. It may not be pumping as fast, but it is still pumping. So that's one of the things that we talked about is that if you put enough solar panels on there, that there's always enough sunlight to generate electricity to power the solar pump. So as you see, the sun is being directly blocked, but you can still see water coming out and the kids are getting water. And this is just temporary. And we did not have the panels mounted on top of the structure yet because we were still building that. Here's the guys, they're actually going to mount the the piece that will actually hold the platform that will actually hold the solar panels. They measured all this out on the ground, nail it together, and now they're going to lift this up back on top of the structure so that uh, then once that's less work. So they've done a lot of it down on the ground where it's easier to do, and so now this kind of strenuous part of actually lifting that platform back up on top of the structure, and then they will nail it and put it in place, level it off. And actually, it's not going to be level, meaning to say it's going to have about a, a little tilt. And its tilt, since we are below the equator in the Congo, most of where we're living at anyway, we're below the equator. So we want it to be pointing a little bit towards the north, which would be towards the equator and towards where the sun traverses the equator. Not much, but uh, it's going to be tilted that direction. The further you move south uh, in the southern hemisphere, the more you will point it to the north. Then, if you were in the northern hemisphere, like we are in the United States and Europe, you would point it towards the equator also, but it would be pointed towards the south. So if you see anybody with solar panels, like here in Indianapolis, we got a solar farm out by the airport. You will see all the solar panels are pointed towards the south because that's where the sun is going to be at, is on along the equator and stuff like that. So that's just a kind of little diversion and everything. But as you see, the guys are lifting it up. And once they get that lifted up, they will nail it into place. So this is all their materials on the ground, the pipe and all that kind of stuff. And so once they get it all done, they will, you know, continue to put it back together and put it together. Here they're mixing concrete for the footers. So they put the foot of this tower in the earth, and then they pour concrete around it. So finally, you know, we'll give this uh, completion of this water well, modern water well, an A plus because it was done and it is doing well. And this is the way it finally was finished with a sign on it, thanking the person who actually donated the money for it, and also recognizing AMECO, which is Paul Law's nonprofit who I was working with. And also we've been working together. We're partners on this. So I was up working with him. And so that is how things worked out. So as I said, this water well, A plus, the flow was good, everything was fantastic, and it was just a pleasure to see this come to the end. Like I said, in the write-up is that Paul completed 49 wells. This was one of the wells, and I actually was over there during the summer, and I worked with him on 13 wells. So this was one of the 13. So this was most exciting for me. I think maybe this was about the second, no, probably about the third or fourth well that we had done there, because this was done right in the middle of June, and I got over there the first week of June. So this was maybe about the second well. So I was able to took a lot of pictures of it, and you know, that's why you can see I have a lot of pictures of just this water well, where some of the other ones, once you've done it once, you kind of go, oh yeah, I got this. And when I was looking back at it, this was probably one of the only wells that I had pictures from the beginning all the way through to the end. And so this was just, I was just luckily that I was able to find this and to see it actually, see every phase of it from beginning to end. Probably the only thing I did not see was when we actually backed the truck in, set it up, uh, and you know, those little things like where we actually went out and marked on the ground. Here's where we want to put it at, and here's the guy says, okay, we're going to back the truck in this way, and actually them digging the pits and stuff like that. But for the most part, this is a complete uh, job being done, and it was really exciting. And I thank Paul for allowing me to come up and work with them, and I'm be happy to go back and continue working with him because I learned a lot, and we were able to talk about different things and come up with different strategies. And as you saw on this well, it only took us about 2 days to get done. We drilled that morning and finished up early that afternoon by putting in the start putting in the footer and standing it up. And then the next day we built the tower and completed it. So it only takes a couple of days over some of the other uh, times we had used a smaller drilling rig where it was taking maybe a week to complete. So with the truck, it's a lot faster, and actually we can drill faster than they can put up the towers. So that's some of the things that we're going to have to work out is how we're going to speed the process of getting the solar panels, the tank, and all that stuff up because we can drill a lot faster and outrun the crew putting up the tower. So we'll have to come up with some way to speed that up, and then if we can speed it up to get everything done, we can continue to rock and roll. See, I have uh, from my friend Sabina. Sabina says I should write a book all about this. Okay, as you say. Yeah, this is something I'm gonna have to write a book someday. I'm not sure it's gonna be on drilling, but maybe the stories behind the drilling and thing. So thank you. Sister Sabina has written a number of books, and so she's giving me the bug to write books. So thank you so much for those comments there. So that is wraps it up, and tomorrow we'll probably haven't come up with a subject as to what we'll be doing, talking about tomorrow, but we may take you into Kinshasa, and when I spent some time in Kinshasa, maybe something else, but we won't talk about water wells for a little while. We'll let that settle in, and then we'll come back and do some follow-up things on some specific areas of it. So thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for your comments and your likes, and we'll really appreciate it. And please take a look at this. And it was something else. I think as a final, I will run the video one last time through and kind of look at it again and point out some of those things I maybe didn't say the first time. Yep, securing the borehole. Again, this is where we've drilled a hole in the ground, but now we have to put the casing in there. And also this was done probably about 1 in the afternoon. So we were finished with it, and we actually had time to, I think we pumped a little bit that day and everything. So now is the portion that that I think is most important. And this is where other people just put a pump down on there, a manual pump, a electrical pump with a diesel engine, where we put a pump with the solar panels and a tank so that they can have water every day and thing. So this is one of the unique aspects of it. And yeah, with solar panels, it won't pump at night because there's no sunlight to generate energy. But hopefully during the day, if you got enough solar panels on there during the day, it will pump enough water so that the tank will have enough reserve to carry it through the late evening and early morning until the sun comes out. But as soon as the sun comes out, in this area, we noticed probably about 8 o'clock, the sun was up enough and the pumps where it started pumping again. So between 7:30 and 8, the pumps are going again. but people in the Congo, they get up at 6 o'clock, and so some people may be looking for water at 6 o'clock. So we hopefully some water would be left over from the previous day. But that's the only disadvantage of having solar panels is that, but it's a slight disadvantage when you think you have to have a generator to run with diesel in order to pump water. So it's a small price to pay. I think building the tower and everything, it takes a little while to do that. However, the wood is local wood, and it's a good hardwood, so it's available versus if you had to bring in steel or steel poles or something like that. That would be more expensive because everything has to be flown into the interior or come by boat, and it would be a lot heavier to transport. But so this is another one, a small price to pay. With the sawmill, Paul is able to go out and get trees out of the forest and use those to not only for the tower but also to make benches in churches, wood frames, and different things. So this is a source of wood. This is going out to the forest to get this is like going to Lowe's, Home Depot to buy your lumber, yard or something like that. So people may be thinking about deforestation or something like that. A lot of the deforestation is because they're not using it for to building houses or things like that. They're actually shipping them to China and places around the world who needs wood, and that's where the Amazon and also the Congo Basin is being deforested because of those reasons. It's not because the people are using it for local purposes. So don't think about that. Oh well, we're cutting down trees. Yeah, this probably is a healthy thing considering. But if they wasn't shipping it around the world, it would. That's where the problem is coming in when you ship trees and stuff around the world. Okay, and this is we got the tank up. We just putting in the concrete, the footers around it, and making a pad around the front so that that it won't be have water, and also to seal in the pump and everything a little bit more. And like I say, this we give it an A+. This was a great job, even though I can say that myself because I did it, but it's great. And this was one of the first ones that I was able to take pictures on everything. So appreciate that. And like I say, this is one of the dreams come true for both Paul and I. We both has had this idea and we've been working on it for a while, and so finally things came together for him last year and for me when I finally got over there. So thank you all again, and we really appreciate it. And we will talk to you tomorrow. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Thank you. And remember, be safe, be good, and be good to one another.